a new change to the right to know. They want to have agendas posted at least 72 hours in advance. Well, on some of these small communities, the selectmen only meet once a month, it's really no big deal. But we can have an FOP meeting on Thursday, and then it'd be pretty tough to get it posted right before we have the city council meeting. And so it was recommended no, because we work highly efficient right here, and this would, I think, cause us a lot of problems if we had to do that. The second one is SB 367 road toll adjustment. We have the lowest gasoline tax in New England. It hasn't gone up. We don't have money to repair roads. We don't have money to construct roads, and we don't have money to fix red line bridges. And I know, especially with gas going up 10 cents the other day, people say no gas tax. But we have a number of bridges in Keene that are red line. We get a certain portion of money out of the gas tax, and it's not solving any of the problems. And businesses feel it's important to have gas tax. They're sick and tired of their vehicles being stuck in traffic. They're sick and tired of their vehicles having to go into the shop for new alignments and all this other kind of stuff. So the Public Works and the FOP recommended that this be approved. Now the next one, HB 1307, acquiring military equipped vehicles. As we know, we had our little problem with the Bearcat. Exeter and Concord had their problem with the Bearcat. But I think what happened was when people put this bill in, it said that was no one in the state would be able to buy or accept a vehicle, a military style vehicle, that is not on the market for the public. Well, kind of like, God, military side vehicles are never on the market for the public, so it's kind of a backdoor way that you would never be able to accept any, quote, military vehicles. But the other side effect is the National Guard gets vehicles, military vehicles, that are not on the public, and the National Guard is a state agency. So we would have a National Guard with no new vehicles. Once they broke, they broke. And HB 1122, filing false liens. Well, what happens is if I want to, I can go, if I don't like the mayor, I can go and file a lien on his house. The registry of deeds will accept it, sight unseen. If he decides to sell his house and someone does a title search, or he decides to go in and remortgage, try to refinance his mortgage, everything comes to a complete stop. So basically what this would do in New Hampshire, it would require the registry of deeds to really certify that this in fact is a legitimate deed, and not a deed, but a lien. But it would also make it a crime to file false liens, because going different parts around the country, there just seems that people say, I'm just going to file a whole bunch of false liens on people's properties today for the fun of it, but it ends up costing a lot of money for a lot of people.
Thank you. Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It is unanimous. 4.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to a volunteer agreement with Keene State College. On a vote of 4 to 0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to execute an agreement with Keene State College for the dietetic intern program to provide support services to the Catch After School program at the Recreation Center. Secretary Greenwald.
Council Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you. I move to carry out the intent. Second.
Council Roberts.
Yes, Your Honor. For the last 3 years, Keene State College has been working with the rec center. The rec center has a catch program. One part of it is 60 minutes a day exercising, but the other part of it is to help teach the children how to have healthy lunches. One of them, not healthy meals, one of them is Sprout program. And my grandkids have been in there, and I've had to eat green meals and all this other kind of stuff. I hate green beans, but I still have to eat them. But they also teach kids to make other healthy meals down at the rec center. And what all the college is doing is, we've been doing it on an informal basis for the last 3 years. Now they just want to do it on a formal basis, and Andy Bohannon saw no problem with that.
Thank you. Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. 5.
Finance Organization and, Finance Organization Personnel Committee relative to several donations. On a vote of 4-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to accept the following donations: $300 from the Monadnock Squares, $1,000 from the Monadnock Region Transportation Management Association and Friends of the Asheville River Park for the purchase of bike racks, $500 in memory of Warren Greenleaf for any improvements needed at Robin Hood Park, and $110 from Kevin Grimmel for the care of the Sumner Night Chapel. Signed, Mr. Greenwald.
Council Greenwald.
Move to carry out the intent of the
Council Roberts.
Do this real quick. Summer Night Chapel, the 110, that brings it up to about $4,000. The $1,000 for bike rack, basically at least one of the bike racks will go into the new Asheville Park, and basically the city clerk said it better than I could say.
Thank you. Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 6.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to a memorandum of understanding regarding improvements at the Keene Public Library and the library annex. On a vote of 4-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to execute a memorandum of understanding between the trustees of the Keene Public Library, the Friends of the Keene Public Library, and the city of Keene relative to improvements at the public library and the library annex. Signed, Joyce Greenwald.
Council Greenwald.
Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Council Roberts.
It's important to understand this is not a contract. This is nothing financial is involved with this. It is basically to get the library and the city manager working towards the same thing. So they made agreements in advance, and what they want to do is get together, decide what they're going to do, what the city's going to be responsible for, what the library trustees are going to be responsible for. The library trustees also want to use the memorandum of understanding so they can stop their fundraising.
Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 7.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to soliciting donations for the 4th grade water science fair. On a vote of 4-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to solicit and accept donations to be used as prizes for the 4th grade water science fair from local and regional businesses. Signed, Joyce Greenwald.
Council Greenwald.
Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
It's been moved and seconded. Council Roberts.
Yes, Your Honor, this is the, getting ready for the annual 4th grade water fair, and it's well attended by all 5 schools in Keene, and Donna Hanskin is asked to allow us to accept donations. In the past, we've got donations like free tickets to Swamp Bat games. And one of the donations that is not talked about here, but is one of the most important donations for anybody who's listening, is the donation of time. It's a really tough job to do the judging, because these kids are well prepared, and as a judge, you'll win a heck of a lot right here. And so, if you can donate time, I think that would be the most important donation.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 8.
Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to the Babbage Dam improvements. On a vote of 4-0, Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to negotiate and execute a professional services contract with DuBois and King Inc. for the engineering, design, bidding, and other technical services for the Babbage Reservoir Dam project for an amount not to exceed $83,500, signed Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Council Limo.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to carry out the consent committee report.
Second.
And Council Roberts.
This, the city did a great job on this one. It's a technical service contract, which is based on competency, and the bids came in from $83,000 to $229,000. And the city engineer, they researched the individual company, and this company is highly well regarded and well recommended. And so basically, it's to do the engineer design, bidding, and other technical services for the Bay Bridge Reservoir Dam project. And basically, it says what it says.
Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 9.
Planning licenses and development committee report relative to a request to use city property for the Ashwell River Duck Race. On a vote of 5-0, the planning licenses and development committee recommends that the Keene Lions Club be granted permission to use city property on July 12th to conduct the annual Great Ashwell River Duck Race, and permission be granted to use a bay at the Public Works Garage to sort and count ducks on a date to be determined by the city staff, subject to the following: customary licensing requirements of the city council and compliance with any requirements of city staff. And in the event of inclement weather, the event may be postponed to a future date to be determined in conjunction with city staff. Signed, David C. Richards.
Council Meader.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the report.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, thank you. Council Meader.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mike Forrest of the Keene Lions Club came before the committee asking permission to hold the 25th annual Great Asheville River Duck Race. The only change this year is the date, changing it from June 12th to July 12th. All the city requirements of the staff have been met, and it's usual request. Committee urges approval of this request.
Mike Forrest has been sitting here very patiently, waiting for this item to come up. So are we ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 10.
Planning licenses and development committee report relative to a lodging house license for the 100-night shelter. On a vote of 5-0, the planning licenses and development committee recommends to Nolan and Chuckwas, DBA 100 Nights LLC, be granted a license to operate a lodging house on property located at 15 Lantern Street for a period of 1 year from the date of issuance. Said license is conditional upon the following: compliance with all applicable sections of the Code of Ordinances, and compliance with any requirements or recommendations of city staff, and the issuance of the license shall be contingent on passing all necessary inspections as stipulated in section 46-562 and 46-587 of the Code of Ordinances. Signed, David C. Richards.
Council Meader.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Council Meader.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mindy Camier, Director of the 100 Night Shelter, came before the committee. This is their annual request for a lodging house license. The necessary inspections have been undertaken. They've been completed successfully. The rest of the staff requirements have been met, and the ELD committee asked that we approve this request.
Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Number 11.
Planning licenses and development committee report relative to a request to use city property from the Monadnock International Film Festival. On a vote of 5-0, the planning licenses and development committee recommends the Monadnock International Film Festival be granted permission to use city property consisting of the sidewalk in front of the Colonial Theater for placement of up to 4 6-amp lights and a red carpet on April 10th from 3 p.m. to midnight and all day on April 12th. The petitioner is also permitted to place 3 sandwich board signs in the grass median strip along Main Street, advertising the event for up to 2 weeks prior to and through the duration of the event dates. subject to review and approval by the Public Works Department. Said permission is granted subject to the customary licensing requirements of the code of the City Council, obtainment of all necessary permits and licenses, compliance with all laws, compliance with the conditions documented in the safety protocol document, and subject to any other requirements of city staff. In addition, the petitioner is permitted to work with the city staff to investigate the feasibility of hanging a banner across West Street, which would be affixed to the buildings on either side of the roadway. Placement of the banner is subject to review and approval by staff and obtainment of signatures of approval from the building owners. The petitioner must also submit signed permissions from the various property owners for outdoor activities occurring on private property. Signed, David C. Richards.
Councilor Mita.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the report.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Councilor Mita.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lena Bierkat came before the committee asking permission for the city to host and use city property for the second annual Monadnock International Film Festival from April 10th to April 12th. This would involve film screenings, parties, hospitality tents, and various activities at downtown locations. Some protocol meetings were held with city staff for the use of city property, sidewalks, signage, etc., and a safety protocol document has been created. And our committee asks that the council concur and so that we can have another successful event.
Are there any further questions or comments? Seeing none, are you ready for a vote? All those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Does the acting city manager have any comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I've had the pleasure of not having to say a word all evening, and I think I'm going to stay with that.
The evening isn't over yet. More time will be granted to items 3D1 and 3D2. And I think that brings us to something else. It brings us to ordinances for